right, so we got a little beginner fabrication project here, meaning that I'm a beginner doing a fabrication project. But I feel like I learn a little bit better when I'm doing, like I have a goal. And here's the goal, is a little truck step that goes in the hitch receiver. So anyway, I was recording live audio, obviously, but the sound was just not good, and it was a multi-day process. So anywho, I feel like this was just a little bit easier. So this is the basic layout. You can kind of, make this however you want. This was all scrap material. So there's some scrap C-channel, some 2-inch by 2-inch, tubing. I'm not sure what the wall thickness on it was, but it was pretty beefy. And then I believe the tread plate on the top is about a 1/4 inch. And then the cap pieces for the sides came off like some scrap plate. And I want to say it was somewhere in the ballpark of 1/8 inch or just a little bit thicker than 1/8 inch. And then I bought these, which are typically like for hooking up, some sort of like a towing shackle or whatever. I did not realize they were going to be like a 1/2 inch thick. They were huge, so I just sort of saw them online, and I ordered them, and they didn't come with the bevel on them. I put that on there for the weld, but these are not going to be like for towing. These are just going to be like clip-on like accessories. Tie a rope to it. If you got the dog with you or whatever, and you need to, go hands-free for a minute. Whatever, I don't know, just for accessories. And honestly, I just wanted to put them on there. I thought they looked kind of neat, and they would be like kind of a challenging weld, because it's basically that big thick material that you see that, again, is, probably a 1/2 inch, maybe even a little bit thicker than a 1/2 inch. But and then I have to fuse that to a thinner material on the sides, which is, good practice. And then this was the reason that I couldn't record live audio in the garage, because they were just meowing the entire time. Anyway, back to business here. So I have the main piece. We tacked it out, and again, you can finish out the inside of this however you want. You can make this square, really basic. I had enough material to do that kind of angular shape, and I thought that looked kind of cool. But if you had like a rounded piece of metal, you could do like a half oval version of this. You could do just a straight up square. Sky's the limit. I put some little, I guess it's a C channel on the inside. I don't even know what you call it, but it's very rigid. You can see them, connecting the edges. And I did that just to add some rigidity for the tread plate on the top specifically, because the side walls are pretty thin. They're really, 1/8 inch or, whatever it is. But I mostly just spot welded those, and then all of the edges are welded all the way out. But on the inside, as you can see, you just got them little caterpillars in there. So these little ears that I'm putting on here, these I did weld, all the way out. Simply just because I felt like this was like a really good practice. You really have to keep the heat focused on the heavier, thicker piece of metal. Because I am running like my settings pretty high here. Obviously this is, it's MIG, it's 030 wire, and it's an Esab 205 machine. So, MultiProcess welder inverter machine. But since I have to run hot enough basically to, fuse to that big thick plate, but that also means that you're running the risk of burning through that 1/8 inch material. So basically what you do is you just focus 2/3. And I like the little cursive E's, but you could do whatever, you could just run a caterpillar or whatever. But yeah, this was just good. It was good practice exercise. I don't have like a fab table or anything. So, getting this thing to like sit at the best angle, so that I had sort of a valley to work in where I could really focus the puddle on the thicker material. So about 2/3 of the time, you're spending most of your time on the thicker material, and then if you think about drawing like a cursive E, it's like the bottom of the cursive E being the thicker material. You take like 2 times the amount of time to draw that part of the E, and then the top part of the cursive E, that little swoosh, is just like real quick. You just dip into that thinner material for just a second. Anyway, I'll show it here in a minute, but it came out pretty good. And then obviously the receiver hitch, I took this outside. If I had a drill press and I could just mark one side and go all the way through in like one fell swoop, I would totally do that. But I don't have that luxury. So I had to do this with a DeWalt drill. So basically what I did is I put it in the receiver. I put some marks on there with a silver streak pencil, which if you don't have a silver streak pencil, I highly recommend. It's like $10. It basically allows you to mark on metal, especially well when there's still the mill scale on there. And it works like a mechanical pencil, except for metal. So that thing is awesome. So what I did here is I just have I don't even know what those are called. Pinions, racks. I'm not even sure. But anyway, the thing that secures your hitch to the receiver. And so I was just trying to like size it up, and that's actually from a different like a drop down hitch that I have. So I just wanted to get the size right, and as long as both holes on either side are really close to being exact, then you should be fine. That thing can go through at like a little bit of an angle, and there can be a little bit of play in it. Just keep in mind, like the more play there is, when you hit, if you've got something back there, like you notice this when you're towing trailers, is like if there's a lot of play in this specifically, what will happen is like when you're at a stoplight, right, and you've got your trailer behind you or whatever, and it doesn't really matter for this because it's so small and light, but if you had a trailer and a lot of play in that hole, when you hit the gas, you hear like a bump, and what that is that's that's that play. It's a wiggle room, and it might only be like an 1/8 of an inch or 3/16 or whatever, but you hear it every time, and like it's not really a big deal, but it drives me nuts. So I tried to make this with as little tolerance as I possibly could, and I think it came out pretty good. So here's just the welds from both sides. I mean, for me, this is good. Somebody who's like an actual welder out there, who's got a lot of experience, probably could do much better. But for me, I was really happy with those welds. I've only been welding for a couple of months, so I thought everything got good fusion. I didn't need to do too much cleanup. Obviously, I did hit some parts of this with a flap disc. I wanted to cut down any sharp edges. One, because I don't want myself to get cut, but also sharp edges don't hold paint. So you want to cut those down, clean it all with acetone, and then get ready for paint. This is an automotive primer, so it's made for metal. So and one thing I'll go over is like, I mean, this may seem self-explanatory, but I have a lot of experience painting, not so much welding. And one thing that I can tell you is on small parts, if you want the results to be good, and you can get cup gun results and pressure pot results with a spray can on small parts. That's the ticket. As long as you never start depressing the spray can on the piece, meaning like what you're seeing me do here is I'm always starting the spray off the piece, moving onto the piece with the spray, and then ending off the piece. And then same thing here with the clear coat. And anytime you see a professional spray shop, they're gonna mostly adhere to this rule. So you start off the piece, work onto the piece. You're somewhere in the ballpark of 8 inches spray distance, and you can get a really nice coverage. And you just do a bunch of coats. Obviously, this is multiple days here. You know, I'm letting each layer cure for anywhere from 18 to 24 hours in between each coat. Not sanding or anything in between each coat, just laying them on there. I mean, I thought it came out pretty good. I did it's all a matte black paint, but I did a gloss finish on the 3 front edges. So there's your gloss, and then I did a flat clear up on top on the tread plate. That way, I thought the definition was nice, and you know, but either way, it's protected. They got, you know, it's got a coat of primer, coat of paint, and 2 coats of clear coat. So, I mean, yeah, at this point, we're pretty much ready to fit this thing. I had fit it once already, but you know, once you paint it and everything, it's still a little bit nerve-wracking to see if you know, I actually never checked if I got the holes right. As funny as that was. I did, thank God, and it fit, and I got that little TRD old school throwback logo thing for like, I don't know, $3 on Amazon, so I thought it was just a nice little thing to set it off. And yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching.